Well, welcome everyone. I'm Nicholas Torres, and I'm the co-founder and publisher of the Social Innovations Journal. I'm calling in from the United States of America. So great to see everybody. We're very excited about this edition of Digital Empowerment, Transforming Community Growth, Health, Economic Development, and Conservation through Innovation Technologies, which was curated by Atmashakti Trust and our colleague. So with that, let's move forward. Next slide. What we have planned for you today is I'm going to give you a little just context for those of you who may or may not know about the journal. Just talk a little bit about its history, what's our purpose, and why do we exist. And then I'm going to turn it over to our facilitator to meet the authors and have a moderated discussion. There'll be audience questions and then concluding remarks. Next slide. So if you haven't heard about the journal, we started in about 2009, 2010. We've been publishing for about 15 years, but the journal was really created not necessarily as an academic journal, but more of a practitioner journal where practitioners across the globe could learn with and from each other. When you look into scaling and replication, it's always challenging because of the particular social, political, economic status of each respective ecosystems. So the journal was really an opportunity for practitioners to talk about how do they do their work, in a sense, their secret recipes of those works, and then letting those learn from them, and then take those ideas and then adopt them and implement them in their local ecosystems. And so we've been publishing for about 15 years. Through that process, we've also learned that we're an atypical journal in terms of we curate our editions through curators. We are an open access journal. We do accept any formal submissions, but usually what we found is that curators such as Amitavi Trust or Ashoka, they have this amazing network of individuals who are experts, and then they just need to be invited to participate in this process. Next slide. So we publish 6 editions annually. Our themes are education, human services, social mobility, and health. This would probably fall in the category of human services, but although it incorporates many different aspects of it. And then our articles are always framed within social innovation, social enterprise defined by there's an earned income model for it, system change, and policy. And as you can see in the bottom is like these are our curation partners from Ashoka, Tamarack Institution, Transformational Community, the Network Towards Unity for Health for Global Health, Wood System Care, and Amitavi Trust. Next slide. Also, as you know, it's like publication is just one tool to create social impact across the globe. And so part of that is, we've been challenged to also think of like, how do we create communities of practice? And so we've done this through the membership. The membership not only supports some of the costs related to the journal, as there isn't really a financial model for the journal. So we do some of that membership. But, part of what the membership does is we also want to drive capital. We want to drive capital to some of these change makers across the globe. And so our focus is to say anybody can participate in that through the membership we've just launching this July is the new membership mission, which will be 50% of the fees will be driving towards Global Social Innovation Awards, which will then drive capital to change makers across the globe. Next slide. Again, as I mentioned before, usually we curate articles through partnerships, but if you're interested, you can always submit an article, and what we try to do is take your article and find out what is the best edition that it would make sense, because most of our editions are theme-based. Next slide. We have a lot of social media channels, and you'll see is like you can also join us on social media. And what we try to do is through our social media is yes, do a big publication out there. We have about a readership about 50,000 subscribers, but we also like to promote individual articles so that they get their own limelight. Next slide. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague from Amitavi Trust to take us away on this edition and meet the authors. So take it away.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks that you all are here. And we would just be starting a quick round of introduction of the author, where you can speak about yourself and also talk about the article piece you have contributed for this journal. So I'll start with first Nishita. Nishita's piece is on Empowering Village Voices, a digital platform to synergize Gram Panchayat with Indian grassroots. Nishita, over to you.
Hi, Sanmitra and everybody else on the call. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So, a brief introduction about myself. I just recently graduated from the University of Chicago with a master's in public policy. And during my 2 years, I was working hard at trying to find ways to make governments more efficient, especially in the digital realm, and trying to figure out how different tools, especially digitally, can come into the whole picture and make local governments more efficient in their working. So, one of the key hypotheses that I started working with was that if citizens actually can interact better with the government, and especially in large countries like India, which are so diverse, and not everybody has access to the government, if the citizens actually try and understand what is really happening in the government and have a day-to-day accountability of how their government is progressing, and on the converse side, if the governments actually understand what kind of grievances people are dealing with, what are the needs of the citizens, there can be a better synergy between this government citizen relationship. And this can be completely reimagined in the digital realm because you have access to platforms. We have massive social media platforms like that. If we have something like that for local governments, they can interact better and have a better understanding of each other. That's where this whole idea of a digital platform came in. And my article focuses on trying to lay the groundwork for why this reimagining, why this there is a need for such a platform in the digital era, and versus what would be the needs of this platform. I come from a design background, so it is very important for me that this platform is also very human centered in its making. It's designed from a very user first perspective. The features, everything is catering to an audience which might not have the best experience when it comes to digital access. So it has to be the easiest thing to use in the world. So, yeah, I am really happy to be here, and I would love to hear your feedback on what you think about the platform.
Sure, Nishita. I think we'll come back to that towards the end when it's going to be an open house and everybody can ask questions to each other or put a comment in the chat box, which the authors can take. Okay, after this, I would invite Nityanand from Atmashakti Trust. He'll be speaking. Nitya, I would request you to introduce yourself and just speak about your article so we get to know about it.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good evening to all. I am Nityanand from India, and I'm working here as a program manager in Atmashakti Trust in Odisha chapter. And today I am excited to discuss the informative potential of digital tools in enhancing civic engagement, transparency, and equity. And the excited topics is digital tool, digital tool, messaging apps, and social media, how become a tool for the developments. And this is my topics. And the digital tools, this platform is managed by me, particularly in Odisha. We have the platform like eSang, we have promoted eSangathan in Odisha and demonstrate how the digital platform can facilitate transparent and inclusive governance. We have also another one platform that is 12 baje 12 minute each, and every day we are posting, highlighting different issues, and I draw the attention of the government officials. And we are not only highlighting issue, not only promoting the, not only highlighting issue, this platform also ensure transparency, accountability, and advocacy for the governments. And from this, we are able to know if this platform force us, pull us because of the COVID-19. When the COVID-19 came, then we are trying to explore more things regarding this platform. And
Right.
yeah, and this is all about the platform SIJ. I would like to draw your attention. I look forward to discussing how we can integrate these insights into our own initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitya. Thank you. After this, I would invite Manoj to introduce himself and speak about his piece. Manoj's piece is very interesting, where he talks about the access to information and how it empowers community, especially at grassroots. Yes, Manoj.
Yes, thank you so much, Sangamitra. Good evening to one and all. This is Manoj from India. Especially, I'm working as a researcher, policy researcher. Actually, in our part, we do conduct the research with government policies and schemes, especially to check the bottlenecks and discuss the same before the government to address and implement in a proper manner so that the beneficiary will get their part of entitlements in a hassle-free manner. So it's a pleasure to be here at this Authors Meet to discuss an issue fundamental to empowering communities and enhancing accountability and governance. The topic is access to information, and the title is Empowering Communities for Progress and Accountability. Access to information is foundation to democracy and development. It enables citizens to make informed decisions, hold their governments accountable, and drive socioeconomic progresses. In our paper, we explore the significance of access to information, particularly in promoting transparency, citizen participation and socioeconomic development. Historically, access to information has evolved from oral tradition to ancient libraries and transformative digital age. The invention of printing press democratized knowledge, and today, digital platforms have revolutionized how we communicate, learn, and interact with information. However, certain barriers such as geographical isolation, technological limitation, and socioeconomic disparities persist, particularly in countries like India. Several strategies, including legislative reforms, technological driven initiative, capacity building programs, and public awareness campaigns can enhance access to information. In this journal, especially, we have tried to stated that how information access to information play a crucial role. Platforms like Haqdarshak in Maharashtra, India, bridges gap in welfare delivery, empowering rural communities by providing easy access to information about social schemes and benefits. The Yojana Card initiative is particularly notable, simplifying the process, access welfare programs, and improving the reach and impact of these schemes. The Yojana Card is first of its kind physical card that helps the beneficiaries to discover their welfare schemes she or he is eligible for and gets the support need to unlock the benefits. This card securely saves eligibility information to discover welfare services. As an individual, you may enroll to get this card yourself or someone you know, maybe your domestic helper or someone is eligible. Someone could partner to provide this card to the critical stakeholder. Preliminarily, this card provided getting a physical card with unique QR code, getting screened to identify schemes they are eligible for, by scanning the QR code on the card using their smartphone and view their schemes list whenever they want. No app download is required. Updating their information and identifying the schemes for themselves. No agent is required. Quickly to know the documents are which document is necessary for which schemes. This card is very important because it's a powerful tool for the users to know their eligibility informations. It encourages collaboration among the multiple stakeholders, and it is an end-to-end tech product that can be suite for the integrated with financial product and bring together various services under welfare and financial inclusion. In conclusion, access to information is crucial and for empowering communities, developing accountability, and promoting socio-economic development. By embracing innovative strategy, addressing persistent challenges, and advocating for best practices, we can realize the full potential of access to information in advancing progress and accountability across diverse societies. Thank you for your attention. Let us continue to work towards a future where information is accessible to all, empowering communities and nurturing accountability in the governance. Thank you once again, and I look forward to the discussions ahead. Last but not in the least, I want to express my gratitude to all the organizers, Atmashakti and SIJ platform, who have paid all their toils to make this process a successful one and giving us an opportunity to become part of this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. I think some of the authors, they are messaging me separately. They're not able to connect because of bad network issue or something. So I think the next person, Vidya, I can't see her here. So
Yes,
yeah.
I'm
Vidya, are you here? No, I can't see. I'll just go move over to Neha now. Neha is here with us. So Neha, can you just come and take the space and just discuss, just introduce yourself and talk about your article? Thank you. Thank you, Manoj.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me a chance to write an article for SIJ and to Atmashakti too. So my name is Neha. I'm working in Atma Shakti, and I'm looking after a project on malnutrition-free villages. So in this article, I have tried to explain um, the problems faced by the users that there is one portion tracker application which was launched by Indian government to keep the track of malnutrition and to get all the data of malnutrition. But when the scheme was launched, when this a solution, digital solution was launched, they didn't figured out the actual issues related to the users who are going to use it, because those users belong to villages and they're not enough capable to they are not it is not very user centric. In this article I have tried to explain the challenges present in the digital solution by the government, as well as explaining the challenges faced by the users. So like digital platforms are crucial in fight against malnutrition, because to get the data and to do the monitoring, improve efficiency, it is very much needed. And it also facilitate the evidence-based policy making to enhance coordination, and so that these data can be accessed by the government as well as the outside audiences. However, the Portion Tracker application, which was a digital initiative in India, to face significant challenges. Many Anganwadi workers struggle with limited digital literacy, and they must be facing the language barriers also, because initially the application was in a single language. But as I mentioned in the article, that after certain issues raised by the Anganwadi workers, there was one amendment made in the article itself. And also, like the application is in like this represent a very much complex data entry processes, which is very much time consuming and prone to errors also. So there are concerns about data accuracy, privacy, particularly with Aadhaar linkage. We are talking about malnutrition, but when we see this application, it's somehow not, it is making the process very much difficult for the beneficiaries as well as the users also, because for to register to get the services by the government, they have to link their Aadhaar with this application. But somehow this because of the Aadhaar linkage process, it is also making a very much difficulty. It is creating very much difficulty for those users also. So like okay so yeah. So in this article, the core is the main core is the capacities of the users, and also like how government can overcome with these challenges to make this application more effective, and so that it can navigate to make it more compatible with in our fight against malnutrition. So like after this session, I would love to have more queries regarding this article, which can uh, improve, and also can give more insights regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. Maria and Caudal, are you both here? I don't think they are also here at the moment. Hina is the one who's not able to connect to this meeting. I've sent her a link. When she connects, we'll just get her back. So meanwhile, Francesca is here, I can see. So I would invite Francesca to introduce herself and her article here.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I know my connection is a little bit unstable.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, hello everybody. My name is Francesca Rolison, and we had this article written by me and our intern Taruk, and we are talking mainly about how the organization that I initiated called the Yumina Movement has started, and how we have been growing using leveraging digitalization. So it basically talks about us understanding, realizing what emotional abuse is, basically starting with my personal story, not knowing what it was. And then when I realized what it is, I decided to share my story on social media. That video was shared massively, talking about emotional abuse being normalized in Madagascar. And when that video was shared, people from all around the world reached out, and they would also echo with their experience that emotional abuse was not just happening in Madagascar. It wasn't not just happening in household. It could happen in all of the different settings, basically. And just as a way for me to share a little bit about what emotional abuse is, it's any type of violence that is not physical or sexual. It can start with verbal, by diminishing someone's sense of identity, dignity, self-esteem through insults, manipulation, or control. And since then, we have been around this is our 5th year, and we have grown through our online campaign of awareness on social media. We have been able to reach over 1 million people. We have started basically right after COVID, and then since then we've grown organically with over 250 volunteers, and we are mainly working in Madagascar. I forgot to share that. And the way we are breaking the cycle of emotional abuse is by doing those awareness campaigns on social media, through traditional communication like TV, radio, or even newspaper. And since then, we have had our training in person. So we are training young adults. We provide them with the social emotional learning. So basically, we teach them about emotions. And those young adults, they are training younger children. Basically, we have a curriculum in the schools that are teaching children about emotions. So we're trying to have a new culture that is based on empathy and healthy relationships. So basically, the article is talking about how we have grown, how we are using mainly in Madagascar, Facebook, but also all of the different platforms for our team to stay connected. I am in the US, and I've been leading the organization from here. And the work is in Madagascar, and we're trying to share best practices for other organizations who are potentially doing the same thing, and always happy to also learn from other organizations leading missions that are from another country, and then leading it on the ground in another country. And also how we are leveraging AI to compensate the lack of resources, and basically how it is helping our team to be more effective while not having enough resource. So yeah, that's how what we're talking about in the article. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca, and I hope all of you read the article. It's really interesting. Yeah. So after this, I would invite Sonali. Sonali is also not here due to bad network. Grace, are you here? Nope. Dorothy? Dorothy,
Hello.
are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much, Asajay and Atmashakti Trust, for having me here. So my name is Dorothy Jane Thomas, and I am from India, but I'm based in Dubai. I just graduated from the University of Pennsylvania with a Master of Science in Nonprofit Leadership from the School of Social Policy and Practice. And in the meantime, I'm also working as a leader and a counselor at the Dubai City Church in Dubai, and as an ambassador of Metro World Child. My work here has involved me advocating for worldwide social progress and empowering the expat community in the UAE. by assisting in the development of personal empowerment programs and platforms to educate individuals to improve employment opportunities. So that is why I kind of focus specifically on how on industrial laborers' lives here in Dubai. So the nation has actually received a lot of criticism about the way they treat their workers. So if you all know, Dubai is a city that's constantly developing. It's always doing something new. And so it's got a bad reputation in this aspect. However, there are individuals and organizations that realize the seriousness of this. And you now hear about how people are now taking initiative to create solutions. Even students are stepping up and trying to do something. And they're leveraging technology to address this need. So in my article, I talk about a few technology advancements, including like helmets that help monitor how a person is doing, if there's something wrong, if the person is not reacting to heat very well, if something's wrong with the temperatures, or if there's a fall, or if there's an accident of any kind, it reports live and it allows people to respond to those situations immediately. Now, these are a few things that are coming up, and I spoke about 4 or 5 different technologies that are being introduced. However, it's still very new, and I believe that there is so much of opportunity for this, for their initiatives to receive awareness and create more impact than it is already making. Yet it is a little glimmer of hope that we can see some big changes happening in the city. So I'm hoping that soon they will raise awareness and even do more collaborations to help make what they're doing more widespread. So that's what I talk about in my article. Thank you.
Yes, Dorothy, and I also remember you're talking about how it is still to be made accessible for all because Dubai runs on an economy with migrant laborers. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Fine, we'll come back to you with more questions when we come back. Hina is here. Hina has joined from a different ID. I would invite Hina to come and introduce herself and her article to us. So, hi, Hina. She's gone again. Fine. We move on to Jaya then. Sorry for this up and down, everybody, because a lot of people have not been able to join us here. Jaya? Hi, Jaya. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Hi, Jaya. We can't hear you. Okay, we'll go back to Jaya again later. Is Abhishek here?
Hi, Sangha.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Who's this, Hina or Jaya?
Sorry, Hina.
Okay, we'll go back to Hina's slide, please, Nikolai.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Actually, yeah.
Okay.
We are right now in Delhi and it's internet problem. So
Okay.
I got disconnected in between. So hi, hello everyone. Good evening from India. My name is Hina, and I am working as a senior program manager in Atmos, and I'm looking after the women-centric initiative and women leadership over here. So my article is empowering women is about economic empowerment. Before going into this topic, I would like to share a few thoughts about women. As we all know, women and girls constitute half of the global population and contribute significantly to the global economy, so paid and unpaid labor. They are involved in various sectors, including agriculture, industry, and services. So, our sustainable development goal is 5 says undertake reforms to give women equal rights to economic resources as well as access to ownership and control over land and other forms of property, financial services, inheritance, and natural resources in accordance with national laws. You see, women work more than men but are paid less. So then I would like to highlight few lines about my state, which is Odisha. Odisha is a state on the eastern coast of India, known for its rich cultural heritage, natural beauty, and historical significance. Mission Shakti focuses on women's empowerment and economic development in a groundbreaking initiative that aims to set a benchmark for women's empowerment. So, the former government of Odisha champions the cause of economic independence for women through its flagship program, which is called Mission Shakti. Mission Shakti was launched on International Women's Day in 2001. Mission Shakti hopes to uplift women by organizing them into women's self-help groups and providing them with the tools, resources, and support necessary for economic and social empowerment. So, Mission Shakti was conceptualized with the clear objective of empowering women through gainful socio-economic activities by providing credit and market linkages. The program helps women in Odisha to become financially independent and socially empowered. Since its inception, nearly 7 million women have been organized into 0.6 million women self-help groups across all the blocks and urban local bodies of the state. A major thrust of Mission Shakti is the Women Self-Help Group Bank Linkage Program, a significant financial inclusion initiative to secure institutional credit for women self-help groups. This program only facilitates access to credit, but also not only facilitates access to credit, but also builds financial capabilities and self-confidence among women. So this is about my article, and if you see the impact, the major impact on women, then we can say Mission Shakti has emerged as a pioneering initiative in women's empowerment, showcasing the profound impact of economic independence and social transformation by organizing nearly 7 million women from rural and urban areas. So it's as we all know, how Indian society is a patriarchal society where women are not allowed to go out alone, and not even they are allowed to participate in any public meetings, any program. But Mission Shakti here is a milestone, or you can say it's a very good move for rural women to allow them for economic empowerment and to allow them to participate in many such kind of programs. So this is all about my article from Mission Shakti and economic empowerment. And thank you all for your patience and time. If you have any questions, you can discuss more later. Thank you. Sorry for the internet issue.
No worries, Hina. Vidya is here with us. If we can go back to the fourth one, sorry. Yeah. Hi, Vidya. I would invite you to introduce yourself to the article. Introduce yourself, Nitya. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Vidya. Hello, Vidya. Can you hear us? No, I think. Okay. I would move on to Abhishek next because Abhishek is here.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening to all. Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good evening to all. First of all, I'm very much thankful to the organizer for this article and also this event as well. My article is based on the online education and how it became a revolution in the education system. As you know that during the pandemic, when many of us talk about the introduction of digital education or digital platform, which was labeled as a threat for in many of the occasions. There was the affordability of purchasing a device, that was also issue. The connectivity, internet connectivity was also an issue, and there are many issues associated with the of digital education, particularly at the point of pandemic. But with due course of time, within few years, it became a opportunity for many who want to pursue their study or who want to continue their study, basically in the cities, or basically who unable to afford to stay in cities to pursue their education. Through digital education, they can access their or they can continue their education even in remote areas also, because the internet connectivity has been increased drastically in last few years. And as you see that higher education is very expensive. It become very expensive in many metropolitan cities and other cities as well, and that that drastically reduce the opportunity for many to afford the education due to the concern of affordability, or due to the issue of affordability. Many unable to pursue their higher education. But compared to that, the digital education is very cheaper to the cheaper in higher education, and there are many free platforms are also available who are providing very solid kind of opportunity or very solid kind of course material, which is very helpful for the people who are unable to afford their education. And that's why many people are saying, and that's why I have also mentioned that digital education is not just electronics education, but apart from the electronics, there are many other e also available there. It is very user friendly. It is very it is it is there are many E's are available. That is, it is everywhere learning, everyday learning, engaging in learning, and it's a evolving kind of learning. Apart from that, it is also environment friendly because it reduces the uses of paper and electricity. And there are many more advantages of digital education, which I have tried to put it in the article. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abhishek. Vidya, I know you are here, but have you been able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, Vidya, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah, Vidya
Okay.
is here, is from one of our partner organizations, and I'll let her introduce herself and speak about her article. To you, Vidya.
Okay. Thank you, Sangamitra. Uh, First of all, hi everyone. Very nice to be here, and it was a good experience collaborating to this article as part of SIJ's July edition. And in this article, I have spoken about the grassroots organizations in India who do a lot of nonprofit and community work, and how can technology enable them. That's sort of what we've deep dived into the article. To give a little bit of background about me and why I choose to write this, I work in a nonprofit organization called Tech for Good Community. We are based off Bangalore, and we started this in 2018, and we worked with many nonprofits in the past, and we still are currently working. We're also working with Atma Shakti now. And in the first few years, predominantly, we employed all of our time and efforts in engaging with nonprofit organizations, especially grassroots, to understand how they work and how we can make their operations better using technology. So while doing this, we realized that number one, there were a lot of things that, there were assumptions that people had about technology, and how also the fact that it wasn't accessible to areas where there's no internet was a huge concern. As the years keep going, where internet connectivity is reaching more and more places, especially in India, grassroots organizations, or any community groups, they're curious if we can adopt something, but how do we go about it? How much is it going to cost? And what do we need? These are some questions that are keeping them from even trying to see what's out there. So our organizations tries to demystify these concepts around technology and make it more accessible. So while doing this, we first engage with the nonprofits, sit with them for months, try to understand their process, and see how tech savvy they are. Is language a burden? Is data entry going to be a burden? Who's going to use it? Why do they need it? Do they need it to just manage their volunteers or their programs or finances, right? Because it's very hard to manage everything using pen and paper. If you generally nonprofits do fund, they operate using funding, so you need to be able to show your funders this is where the funds were utilized and this was the impact. And how do you also sustain a nonprofit organization if you're not keeping track? So these are all some questions that everyone has in mind, but they don't know how to go about it. So what I've explained in the article is that you don't need a very fancy, expensive tech system, which has a lot of features. Something very simple, which would even allow you to enter information in different pages, or you can have tags, a very simple data collection system. And if you're just able to visualize that data, it goes a very long way. If you've read the article, you'd have also seen that from the case studies uh, of how it's impacted JMS uh, uh, community group in Karnataka, and also Imago, which is a global organization. But Imago, even though it's a global organization, the Imago India has a lot of grassroots centers. So uh, when also that is one part of the story. The other part of the story is that many policy making groups or bigger organizations, when they are influencing or they're making any standards or changes or interventions, they do consult with the grassroots because they are the ones who have the data. Now, unless this data is solid and can be relied on, it trickles down. The errors trickle down, right? So that's also one reason why it's very important for grassroots to keep their data secure, reliable, and accurate. And the final part of my article just goes into how you can get started with technology. That there are many more cheaper options available these days. There's open source technologies. There are systems built just for nonprofits. So it's all getting better, and we should nudge, our partners who are working in grassroots initiatives to try and adopt technology to bring about a good organization, setting internal processes, and thereby scaling their programs. That's pretty much what the article talks about.
Thank you, Vidya. Thank you. Jaya, are you ready? Is your system problem gone? Yeah.
I guess so. Yes.
Okay. Nikolai, if you can just move the page to Jaya. Yeah. Yes, Jaya.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, good evening and have a good day. So, thank you, SIJ, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you, Atmashakti. I'll basically background myself. I am a social development practitioner, and I have been working for the past 20 years with the most marginalized communities in India, mostly the tribal communities, who are the who are forest-based economies. The whole idea of writing this article was to explore how the digital ecosystem has suddenly become an enabler and a connector of this community to the economic landscape. The title of my article is From Calloused Hands to Nimble Fingers. And I'd like to talk about the topic for a bit because most of the people from the marginalized communities and underserved communities have to undertake strenuous manual labor and work for excessive hours to make their ends meet. But post-COVID, there has been a digital revolution where suddenly the expanse of the economy has come from one phone to the other phone, and people have been able to connect with the entire universe. I mean, the whole world with just a fingertip, just a tap on the phone. And this article talks about how first part of the article talks about how this social innovation around this digital marketing has helped people, irrespective of their class, economic background, uh, just by having a system and internet access, how they connected to the market, which was because of lot of barriers, even not accessible to. As I move further in my article, I talk about how uh, social media, especially the whole economy of social media influencers, has taken the degree of earning at an astronomical level. So, for example, a daily wage laborer in India earns an average of $1,300 per annum. But if the same person becomes a social media influencer or by chance becomes a mega influencer, uh, the range of earning is from $1,000 to $15,000 per post, and they get sponsors. And I've taken a case study of the famous Kacha Badam song, which became a very vibrant song and was used by many international Instagrammers and something like Achilles Paul, who's a very famous and a Korean mother daughter, became a very grooving number. And at the time, this person who had who used to use the single to sell peanuts on the street, the person was earning something like $2 per day. But this whole social media becoming viral on social media gave him an opportunity to earn something like $3,598. So, I mean, this is the scope that just the ecosystem has offered to the communities. It's not to do for a programs or a software or a tool. It's just this access, this whole availability space that there's been a lot of effort for the socio-political empowerment of the communities. But always on the economic empowerment, there was challenge. And suddenly this balance lifted. So if you get a chance to read my article, I think you'd get this whole insight about how the social media has become an enabler space. Once started happening, how the government also started chipping. So another case study is about how there's an entire village in a state in India, Chhattisgarh, where the entire village is a YouTuber. So if there are there are 40 YouTube channels from that same one particular village, which has only 1,000 households, and even the government is investing in it. So I hope you get a chance to read and talk more about this. So
Sure,
it'll
sure,
also give me an
very
insight of,
interesting.
have I holding the right button? Yes. Thank
Yes, we
you
will all be back
again.
with more
And
questions.
I must say, I am very inspired to hear about all the authors so far. Thank you. Thank you for the.
Thank you, Jaya. We'll go to Sparsh next. Sparsh is here.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for your introduction and talking about your paper and article. Thank you Atma Shakti. Thank you SIJ for giving me this opportunity. Uh, I'm currently, I also just recently completed my graduation from University of Pennsylvania in the School of Social Policy and Practice. I'm a dual degree student in nonprofit leadership and social policy with data analytics. Now, before I go into the article, I want to give a little bit of context as to why I got interested in the idea of UBI Universal Basic Income. So, when in India, my background is in engineering, but I shifted to the social sector space and worked with the government for a couple of years. So, initially, when I was working with the government of Haryana, I was tasked with implementing a one-stop solution for availing service. So we would have these Antyodaya Kendras like centers where people can come and then they can avail different schemes, all the department schemes under one roof. And there were sporadically, there were common service centers, which are like small shops that people could go to. So this was definitely an improvement from people having to go to different departments and finding out different schemes and all of this. So there was certainly an improvement, but at the same time, I also felt it still required poor people who were on daily wage to come to the center forego their wage and then fill a lot of paperwork, many of them not knowing what the information is, what form to fill, not having the documents. So there was still a little bit of hassle. And when it comes to the common service center, those small shops, they would sometimes take advantage of these people, and then they would charge money when they was not supposed to. So there were still some loopholes that were there in terms of service delivery. So while I was working on that, I also thought there must be a better way to ensure that people get what they deserve and what they need from the government. So that was one experience. The second experience after that, I joined the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and there also I was um, tasked with defining a policy or drafting a policy on the comprehensive rehabilitation of people engaged in the act of begging. So people who are sometimes who are homeless, who are on the streets, and they ask for money from people on the streets. So and there what our idea, what the ministry's idea was, that what we'll do is we will build these shelter homes, we'll bring in these people, and we will give them some sort of a training so that they can be self-sufficient, which is not a bad idea. Which is fine. People should be self-sufficient, definitely. And second, it gives them in terms of a space, someone who can care for them, and all of that. But at the same time, when I was looking at the numbers, just doing some back of the envelope calculation, we were spending about 1 lakh rupees per person on rehabilitating them, and having them schemes. I'm sorry, having them have a training for something that they're interested in. All of that, and then I'm not even accounting for the number of person hours that the bureaucrats and the team and the whole team spent on that. And I just wondered there might be a more efficient way. The second part was, it's not something new that has been tried before. Training, vocational training for people, it has been tried before, but there are a lot of loopholes in terms of how do you select, how do you ensure that people want to come and stay in the shelter homes, how do you ensure, and having them away from the family. There were a lot of logistical constraints, so it was just very complicated in that sense. And the amount of money that was spent, I just felt that it's too much for the outcome that we were expecting. So then I came across the idea of universal basic income and cash transfers. And the idea is universal basic income is so three parts, right? So universal then means everyone gets it. Basic, it's basic, so you're not getting $1 million. And it's an income, so it's a regular transfer. The idea is that from the first experience with the government of Haryana, that it can, instead of all these having 35 departments and more than hundreds of schemes, have a one transfer, single transfer, which is a cash transfer, so that people can decide what they want to do. They want to buy food from them, they want to buy fertilizers, they want to buy the children's textbooks. So it's up to them. So a choice and agency is there with the UBI. The second thing is in terms of efficiency, right? Instead of all these transfers, having all those bureaucratic systems, you have one single transfer, and it's more efficient that way. It cuts out the middleman, it cuts out potential corruption, and it gives them agency. So that was the idea. Now, in this paper, what I talk about, and there are a lot of experiments done all over the country, especially in the US. US, I feel, is like at the forefront of different pilots, different programs on unconditional cash transfers. A lot of nonprofits are sprouting who are doing cash transfer programs to assess the efficiency of this and the impact. So here in the context of India, in this paper, especially what I talk about is what we can do to make cash transfer a reality. We still have um, a lot of people who are not included in the financial system, who are not included in the digital system. So to be able to effectively transfer money to them, there has to be some system. And that's where the JAM infrastructure of India, which is the Jan Dhan, which is the bank accounts, Aadhaar, which is the social security system, sort of in a way similar to the social security number in the US, and then there's a mobile penetration. So how do you, and when this also comes from when I went to Odisha on field visit with Atma Shakti Trust, I realized that I got to know that people had to travel long distances to get their pension. So, and the pension, if let's say the pension is 500 rupees, they would have to spend 150 rupees just to go there and come back, let alone leaving their day job, leaving their daily wage. So it was just not worth it. So I'm not advocating for, when I say financial inclusion, I'm not advocating for having, not necessarily advocating for having more banks, and that all of that is necessary. But I think what the government should do, what I'm advocating for, is to push for digital literacy, is to push for digital inclusion, is to push for network connectivity, and all of that. So yes, and of course there are challenges with that. So government has to take care of the privacy issues, the challenges of digital inclusion, challenges of equity. We know that while the mobile penetration is 76%, women and people from marginalized communities have even less penetration. So how do you ensure that the access is equitable so that everyone gets included in the financial
I'm sure
system?
everybody will have a lot of questions for you after this, because you have already like touched the core of how to do this. So we'll park those questions for in the
Yes,
Q&A session next.
absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, Sparsh. Anish, are you here? Anish from Lex Foundation? No, I can't see Anish. Asma is here, I know. So I would request Asma to come and introduce herself. Yeah, and talk about your article.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashma from Nepal, a business student, but my core interest has always been the development sector. Currently, I'm working as a content creator at STC Studio, where we curate impact stories of different projects implemented all over the Nepal by various NGOs and INGOs. And to contribute in development sector, of course, I'm working as a board member of Jagriti Child and Youth Concern Nepal, where we work on the concerns of child, teenage girls and boys and youths, and many more. Beside academic research paper, like quantitative research paper, this is my first article for the journal. So I would like to thank Sangamitra, of course, the organization, and Social Innovation Journal team for helping me to create this piece. So I'm delighted to present my article. And in today's world, of course, we know the digital access is more than just a convenience. It is a catalyst for change, especially for marginalized communities. So, for which my article delves into how digital tools can bridge gaps and empower grassroots communities toward sustainable development. So, I'm focusing more on sustainable development, how we can make it last longer than just a fashion or a trend. So my research focus on Nepal, where digital technology has been pivotal in transforming lives. For instance, farmer in rural Bharatpur, which is like in the heart of our country, they have harnessed social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok to access agricultural information, from which they are improving their practices and boost their livelihoods, and are like the research found that they are earning very well through the techniques and like that information which they learn from digital platforms. So this information demonstrates that the power of digital platform in fostering knowledge sharing and economic growth both. So likewise, financial empowerment is another critical aspects. The mobile banking and digital wallets have opened up new opportunities for rural women in Nepal, and the cases from UNDP Nepal have showed that people from the corner of Nepal, like Karnali or the Mechi region, has been using the digital apps and benefited well, and are also being that catalyst to train others and transforming others' life as well, which is very, very like great things to know, because the generation the generation which we are like trying to focus on are involving themselves into these transforming activities. So however, digital access is not without challenges, and being social activist working for the rights and rights for the girls, online violence and harassment, particularly against women, are rising. Our concerns, and my article emphasizes the need for a robust legislation and digital literacy program to protect and empower users. So, educating communities on safe online practices and responsible digital citizenship is important for creating a safer digital environment. So, to sum up my article, that is, I want to establish that digital access has the potential to transform marginalized communities by providing information, resources, and economic opportunities. So, by bridging digital divides, I think we can unlock the potential of these communities. By communities, I am focusing more on marginalized communities and fostering inclusive growth and progress toward the sustainable development goals, which we are trying to achieve by 2030. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to engage with you all further on this topic.
Thank you, Asma. Thank you. Anish, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi,
Yes.
Sangamitra.
Hi.
I hope I'm audible. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
This
Hi,
is one.
everybody. Good evening.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, please go.
Sorry, Nikolai, it would be one before this. Anish Singh. Yeah, please.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thanks for giving me this opportunity. And I represent the Lex Foundation today, and I would like to thank you, Sangamitra and Atma Sakti, for giving us this opportunity to showcase the work that we are doing and highlighting the project that we have been working on for last 2-3 years. So about myself, I originally I come from corporate background, and I have been in corporate for over a decade now, and at, at the same time I have been associated with Lex Foundation for let's say for last 15 years. So today I'm here to talk about the article that we have written, uh, which is that is called Privilege Fellowship Program, right? And basically it addresses the social problem in our society, uh, where gender-based inequality is there, which affects the education of the girls in the society at the bottom pyramid of the society. So it gives the solution, and it describes the solution that we have given through this program. So I would talk. I first of all I'll just give a background as to how we started it, and then I'll just give a brief description of the project, and how technology has played a crucial role in implementation of the project, and then impact it has brought to the society, and then the challenges that we have faced. So with the to start with the background, like in 2021, Lex Foundation carried out a need assessment and found out that the families at the bottom pyramid of the society were not very positive about girls education, and they prioritize marrying their daughters at early age just to avoid any liabilities and financial burden resulting from their education. So they prefer to save money for their daughter's dowry over the education. Even their daughters were willing to pursue their education, and academically they were very 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 good. So this was the thing that we found out at Lex Foundation, and we thought of addressing this problem, and this is how we come up with this fellowship program, which is called Privilege Fellowship. So this program gives three major solutions to address this problem. One is it provides counseling to the parents, because they are the primary decision maker for their the children, for their daughters. And second, it provides the financial benefit to the girls, those are willing to study. And third is it provides focused mentorship to the girls, right? So these are the three aspects that we do. So again, the program is a capacity building program, which uh, aims at the empowering the girls so that they can become financially independent and contribute toward the the society. So it also contributes towards the poverty alleviation, gender inequality, literacy, and inclusive society. So as I said, the technology has played a very vital role in this whole project in terms of reaching out to all the stakeholders, whether they are students, their parents, and the counselors and mentors that we have across the country, even out of the country, right? So we have been able to connect these all stakeholders just because of the technology. Otherwise, it would have not been possible for us, right? So impact that we have brought through this project since we started in 2021, like 200 families, I mean, the girl students have got benefited out of this program. Uh, one of the students that we had, one of them has got job with the central government, and two have got job in the private sector, and they are still pursuing their higher education, and rest all are pursuing in their pursuing their higher education at the college level. Out of these 200, two got the two of the families got them married after they were enrolled in the program, and we were not aware of it. We only got to know about this after they had got married, right? So this is the impact that we have brought. And the challenges, two major challenges we have faced. One is like children's, I mean, the students, they come from the very marginalized and very low section of the society, so they don't have the smartphones, or they just have single phones. So at times phone is not with them to connect for the session that we have once in a week. And the second one is like counseling and convincing their parents just to make them to allow the daughters continue this study. As I said,
Right.
we again, so that these are the two major challenges that we faced, right? So that is all from my end, I think.
Thank you, Anish and Lex Foundation. I'm sure there are a lot of questions which will be coming afterwards for your program.
Thank you.
Lastly, I would invite Chandrika for her article AI, which doesn't stand for artificial intelligence but animal intelligence. Chandrika, you are here?
Yes, yes, Sangha, thank you. Thank you, SIJ, for having me here. And thank you, Sangha, for all the immense work you've put in. I know you've done a lot on each of these and bringing this out. So I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I think because of the large number of areas of interest, I'm allowed to also dabble in things that I'm not directly involved in. So artificial intelligence is something that it really intrigued me. Through both my films where I have on and off dealt with animal subjects, and also in my personal life, I have worked with NGOs like Beauty Without Cruelty and PETA and Sanjay Gandhi Hospital, and a large number of people who also work for street animals. So when the subject came up, so I was very drawn to it about, there are some aspects which are very challenging, and can artificial intelligence, even though it's very new, can it make a difference? And so my article talks about that. There were two areas where I was very specially interested in, because though AI is used in wildlife conservation and veterinary procedures, so it's made lots of strides. But one area I was very interested in was vivisection. And that's something that even for people who don't particularly care about animals, or they're not really involved with them, but animals touch everybody's life, I would say, every minute. Because even the deodorant you're using, the shampoo you're using, the vitamins you're eating, everything has been tested on animals, unless you're very conscious and you've chosen something which hasn't been tested on animals. And one of the questions that has been coming up again and again is, do we really require this? This has been something which has been examined from a long time, and my article tries to talk about, can artificial intelligence replace the need for vivisection? There are thousands and thousands of animals which are experimented upon. Do we really need that? They're mutilated, they're killed, they suffer a lot. And if that can be replaced by artificial intelligence tools, it would be a big thing. And there is a principle of replacement, reduction, and refinement. And this has been talked about from many years. But artificial intelligence has been able to actually replace, reduce, and refine alternatives in animal experimentation in vivisection. And this is what I examine in the article. The other area which I talk about in the article is artificial intelligence in how it can interpret or understand what animals are trying, how they communicate, and what they're trying to communicate. And it's very fascinating because of course, there's not just a animal or bird or reptile or any of them. I mean, there are thousands and thousands of creatures of different species, and trying to understand how they communicate, each of them. Just imagine what kind of a change it would bring to our lives. I mean, there are countries which are talking about legislation where they consider animal rights, not just from a point of view of what we think, but also from point of view of what they think. And if we could understand their language, we would actually know what they're thinking. And I think that would be a major breakthrough. So that's something which my article is examining. So I'd like to let you go on that note. And it has been very interesting listening to everybody's areas of actual work and research and the articles. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing more about them.
Thank you, Chandrika. I don't know if some of the people are here, like Sonali, not here, I guess, and also Grace. In fact, since they're not there, I'll just quickly touch upon their article. So Grace's article is also about AI and technology in the work of conservation, wildlife conservation, where they have taken a real life ongoing case study in Papua New Guinea. And there they speak about empowerment, of how using technology empowers the community, and especially women who are not usually seen as technical, like, or people who cannot handle technology. So they have like introduced some very basic technology which are operated by the women of the community, which makes them more aware and able to kind of control their environment. So is Sonali. Sonali's article is also the same, not the same, but like talks about similar subject area, where she looks at how women, women from the Aborigines community, they have come forward in land conservation and also measuring the land, and how it empowers them, and how their status is elevated just being seen as people who are handling the technology. Other than that, I think we do not have two group of authors here, right, Nikolai? I think we do not have Maria and Cordell, and there is one more article, trust-based philanthropy. So we do not have them here, unfortunately. So I would like make this open session for all of you to ask questions, or type a question if you have, like just stating the author you are asking this question so that they can answer it. Yeah. I would specifically, if Neha, if you are here, we would like to understand a bit more about how, like the whole Anganwadi challenge, how that has kind of navigated through this digital tools, and yet you see a lot of barriers. So what are your recommendations for that? Anybody else like wants to ask a question to anybody? Yeah. Yeah, Anish,
Thank you,
you have
Saga.
anything? Yeah, Neha, please go.
Yeah. So basically, this article highlights the essential role of Anganwadi workers in delivering services to millions. But that we have to keep in mind that app has to be very effective, and it has to be very much user centric to avoid the limited digital literacy. And also through this article, while we would understand ki how language barrier is making them incapable to provide the essential data that is needed to provide the accurate information regarding the malnutrition, because what happens, they are the basically Anganwadi centers are located at very remote locations, and these are the village level units that is basically uh, provided by the ICDS center, and which is a center to provide nutrition to the women, children, pregnant, and lactating. So these are the core beneficiaries of malnutrition. But yeah, so this article advocates for a user-centric approach to digital intervention and also emphasizing the need for multilingual support and offline functionality and better training for Anganwadi workers. And also it stresses the importance of collaboration between policymakers, technologists, and the grassroots stakeholders who are going to use this digital platform. So the ultimate goal is to create a malnutrition-free village, or we can say a nation, where every child receives the necessary nutrition and the care they require. And also the audience who is seeking the malnutrition data, the real-time data.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Um,
I hope it
anybody?
clarifies. Yeah.
Yes. I would also ask Francesca to talk a bit more about Omena, if you have any real life uh, case studies which you would like to share here with us.
I'm here. So my connection is not very
No
stable.
worries.
Do you
Okay.
mind repeating the question a little bit? Case study.
I was asking if there is any real life case study which you would like to share with all of us, because it sounds interesting. I've read the paper and also how it has started. So, like in our country, especially like in India, when I talk about India, there we also have challenges, as in like we speak a lot of different languages. So, for you, is there any similar barrier to entry or anything, or if any of us had to, any of the other organizations had to kind of adapt it? Do you see any challenges or anything which you would like to share with us?
Okay. So when it came to, we wanted to have a model that we were able to replicate. And we started it in the capital of Madagascar, and we did implement the training. So we have a training that is providing, first of all, the signs, understanding what emotional abuse is, why it exists, and what are the tools for the young adults to break the cycle. And right now, actually, we are trying to replicate it in the south of Madagascar. And the language, the official language in Madagascar is only, I would say, it's in the capital, but we have a lot of dialects in the different regions. So even when we do, especially when we do replicate the model, we need to make sure that it is culturally appropriate in that region. So we work with how do you say that, leaders in that community to make sure that the way we deliver it is contextually, culturally appropriate. And even when I do the awareness sessions here in the US, it's the same thing. I usually ask, based on the definition of emotional abuse, how people have experienced it. Sometimes during my sessions, I ask what comes to mind when I say emotional abuse, and sometimes it is so the definition is so blurry for some people that when they see the definition based on the research, that's when they realize, oh my gosh, that's something that I experienced, but I didn't know that it was called emotional abuse, or that I didn't know that if done repeatedly, that was emotional abuse. And they realize, not only they realize emotional abuse as the problem, but they see the impact on their sense of identity, their mental health, and that's where the how to say this, the wake-up call happens. So we have a lot of those case studies where we have the sessions, and that's when people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that, and I didn't know. That's why I'm going to therapy, actually. And some of those things that are very sometimes not talked about, but also a way to pinpoint one of the factors leading to mental health challenges.
Right.
The chat is disabled. Can't post questions there. The chat is disabled.
Oh, check. Okay, please ask Chandrika if you have any question. Meanwhile, I fix this.
Okay, I just wanted to ask the person from Lex Foundation, how many, what area they were working in? How do they identify the girls that they, they deal with? And how many people are they dealing with? I mean, how many girls do they reach out to? How do they identify these people? For how long do they work with them? I just wanted to know a little bit more.
Ma'am, I mentioned, thank you for the question. You already mentioned we have, benefited 200 girls since we started in 2021. And that is one part of your question. Second part, how do we reach out to these students to, selecting them or, taking them on board? So we reach out through the schools. Right. So, because we have a set parameter of selecting them, we take reference from the teachers as well. There is a form which is filled by the principal or their teacher who, has been their teacher for, let's say, 1 year or 2 years. So that they can, verify that, yeah, this particular student is actually deserving for this particular benefit. Right. So we reach out to the girls from the through the with the help of the schools only.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Nitya and Nishita both have spoken about a grievance redressal platform or application in their article, and going into the same thread, Manoj has also spoken about the importance of access to information. So I think like overall, like apps like Hagdarshak, or there are more maybe which I'm not aware of. So Manoj, if you're here, are you here, Manoj? No, I don't think so. So
Yes.
yeah, Manoj. So would you like to just in your research or and when you were writing this article, um, can you just give us an idea of overall, when we talk about right to information, it's mostly RTI, which becomes a very cumbersome process. And when we talk about Hagdarshak, which seems much more simpler. So is there anything that is a comparison where you see the user, the usage of this particular platform, especially at the grassroots, which you want to talk about?
Yeah, thanks for this question. Actually, if you see, there are multiple numbers of social welfare schemes in each and every states that may be centrally sponsored or sponsored in the context of India. But the thing is that to avail these multiple schemes benefits, beneficiary has to visit numbers of offices. I mean, numbers of, in some cases, numbers of kiosk point or numbers of offices to avail all these things. I mean, all the documents, everything. But in this Hagdarshak platform, what they are providing, they are just providing all the social welfare schemes under a single umbrella. So the thing is that it's clearly stating that how the beneficiaries, those are residing in rural or remote part of the country, they don't have to visit numbers of offices or numbers of kiosk point to avail these schemes. They just have to put all their information and prepare a card, like we all are preparing a PAN card and other cards. So if you see, when we are preparing a PAN card, we have to visit some other offices, and when we are preparing our Aadhaar card, we have to different websites. But in case of Hakdar sir, you have to just visit to them, and you have to prepare one card giving all the information, in which you can just scan that QR code given in that card, and you can find what are the schemes you are eligible for, and what are the documents for each of the schemes that you need to provide. So it's a single point solutions. So this helps a lot. I mean, the others are following this pattern. Like sports has also mentioned how one-stop center can be organized, so that people don't have to be in that much of problem that they have to visit numbers of offices,
Right.
numbers of websites, and all these things. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, we have only 2 more minutes left for this session. So there is a question for you, Anish, in the chat box from Dorothy. So please do look at it. And I would like to thank each of you to be here and to talk about this article, and more importantly, doing this article and making this article a rich discourse. I'm sure like each and every story in this is like very enriching for us and our readers. And I hope we take this conversation further offline from here. Thank you all. Thank you, Nikolai and Nicholas, for letting us do this.